and welcome to this second Sunday of this new year, of this new decade. And I don't know about you, but this new year has started off with a bang. And the big bang in my life is Owen and I have decided to buy a home. Now, I don't know if you've ever been there before, but there's something about making a great big purchase that feels like a really big commitment and responsibility that sometimes I'm feeling, what am I doing? A little panic, a little worry, a little like, do we have enough money? A little lack, a little doubt. And then there's other times I'm just so excited because I can't wait to have you all over. It's so beautiful. It is amazing. It's brand new. And so, I'm facing change. And we as a community are facing change as we step into more and more of what we want and how we're going to do this together. So I'm going to guide us first by centering on this basic quote from the Bible. Now, Exodus is the story of a people who were once slaves in Egypt, and then they're free. And that movement was a radical change. Now, when you're a slave, everything's decided for you. And you have something to sleep on. You get something to eat. And there's something, your life is something. Well, when you leave that and you start walking through the desert, you don't have shelter. You don't have food. All of a sudden you're free to choose everything. And part of us want to go back to the slavery. Part of us want to go back to the comfort. It was painful, but at least I didn't have to make any decisions. I was poor me. But when we move into freedom, we have choice. And so, this quote, "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord. Tell the people to go forward." Now, I'm going to base the talk on this very quote because I see in it 3 steps for facing change. Number 1, don't panic. Fear not. From that scriptural passage, fear not. Now, when we're in fear, we're constricted. Now, there's times for fear. It's a human experience. But we don't want to spend every waking and sleeping moment in fear, do we? We want to let go of the fear, of the doubt, of the any of the panic that comes up sometimes when we experience change. Now, one thing we can be absolutely certain of is in this life, in this world, everything is change. Everything is changing. Change is going to be. In fact, when we're not experiencing any more change, we've already transitioned to whatever's next. But as long as we're breathing, we're changing. And so, I turn to the wisdom of Ernest C. Wilson, a Unity minister. Times of change are times of fearfulness and times of opportunity. Which they are to be for you depends on your attitude toward them. So, whenever we're encountering change, it's either going to be a handful of fear, or it's a handful of opportunity. And sometimes we walk through life feeling fear and walking through it anyway. Like the house is supposed to close on February 3rd. And if I don't put major blocks up to that happening, like saying, no! Sorry about that over-modulating, but that's sometimes what it's like. And we can say no. We can also say yes. And along with that decision, there's incredible support. An incredibly fabulous realtor that answers questions honestly and is always there to support. An amazing mortgage agent in Kansas City through the Costco mortgage buying program. I didn't know Costco sold mortgages, but got a good rate through them. And she says, I work out of my house. You can call me anytime, 24/7. Oh, called her at 2 o'clock in the morning. She answers the phone. It's amazing. So there's support. There's within the opportunity when we open ourselves and we step right on the edge of that was then, this is now, then we find there's support. There's people we can call. I can go, Mom, I need to talk. I've got all these feelings, and I'm afraid, and I doubt. And she goes, I know. But, son, it's a beautiful home. And I don't know about you, but I'd move there. So, we are, like the song said, we're in the right place at the right time. The second step to face change is put God first. So that comes from the scriptural passage of stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord. Put God first. Do we agree that there's only one power and one presence in the universe? If that's true, God is already present. And it does, whatever name you give it, it can be comforted one, shining one, superpower, superhero, God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna. It doesn't matter what name you give it. The eternal presence of that one power in the universe can take any name we want to put to it. But know who you're talking to. And then listen when they talk to you. Because we do get that if we take time to pray and meditate every day. It's part of one of the tenets of unity that we practice this presence daily. So I turn to this quote from H. Emily Cady. Now, Emily Cady was a physician in New York in the late 1800s and one of our earliest New Thought writers. I love Emily Cady. When you have learned how to abandon yourself to infinite spirit and have seasons of doing this daily, you will be surprised at the marvelous change that will be wrought in you without any conscious effort of your own. It's so true. I've learned in my own life by daily practice of prayer and meditation, when something comes up that jangles my peace, I have a moment. I have a beat where I can choose. Do I want to spin down the bunny trail of poor me? Or do I want to just relax and say, what now? What do I need to do to navigate this thing that I'm seeing? What do I need to open myself to remain, as the daily word said, strong, calm, and clear? And we can do this, I love this, have seasons of doing it daily. So take 3 months. Practice a season of practicing daily prayer and meditation. And see, the fruit of it comes from when we're one with God, we are provided so much. This home is 6-minute drive from where we're sitting. I don't even have to get on I-35 to go home. Now, is that all our planning? Did we factor all that out and figure out this is, okay, this? No, that's God doing great work. Providing a place that's suited just for us in a new neighborhood that works in financially within the guidelines of what we said we wanted to do, and then they drop the price. How does that happen? Like a week and a half before we go into it for the first time, it was, I don't know, do the math, $15,000 cheap, more expensive than what it was when we first walked in. It's the same house, and it was only built in December. That's last month. It's a baby. It's a baby. And as we embrace what comes to us and through us, it's amazing what happens. Put God first always. And then you can walk through the desert and manna comes. And you're eating and you didn't even have to grow it or shoot it. The next and the third step for facing change is take action. This is that part of that scriptural quote, tell the people to go forward. We must, when we are facing change, we have decisions to make. Yes, no, forward, backward. Maybe, I don't know, are also valid options. Because some things need discernment. Some things we might need to reason it out with someone else. And an important part of this is the people go forward. We're not alone. We're doing things together that are making a difference in our lives, in other people's lives, in our community. We're changing the world. And I've got a wonderful quote from the gifted anthropologist that most of us have probably heard of before, Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. We, together, have the opportunity to bring into manifestation whatever it is we want. And where we do it together or singularly, we're making a difference. It changes. I'm a different person since I came to Texas. And I love what I'm becoming. And that's happened because of you. Because of what we're creating together. I may be the spiritual leader, But I'm not the spiritual giant that has all the answers, because you have the answers. And we're creating what we're doing together. And I love that. I don't have any more information than you have. And I want to know what you want and what you like and what you appreciate and what lights your lamp. And then we'll together. Now, we don't all have to do everything together. We all have different gifts. But we're not alone. And I turn to James Dillett Freeman, who was a Unity minister. He was the head of Silent Unity for many years. God does not change. God is eternally the same. But the God idea changes. The God idea changes as we human beings change. Your God idea changes as you change. We don't change God. God's changeless. We change us. That's why we live in the world of change. And as that divine idea flows through us, as we awaken to what's most important to us, then we're changed in a very real way. Once we were slaves of our ideas and our fears, and now we're free to express ourselves, to step out and live the life we want to live. Like, it might be a really good idea to go on a cruise. What a novel idea. Buy a home. Anything's available. And we're changed through the process. James Dillett Freeman continues to say, to live is to change. Nothing alive stands still. A tree may rest in winter, but only to gather strength to grow again in spring. I love this because if we have any doubt about how everything is working in the universe, look outside. See how everything is all working together. We're part of it all working together. Unless we become constricted or so afraid that we're not willing to pop our head up to see, oh, it's raining. Oh, it's sunny. And we go through changes. There are times when we need to rest and build up strength, to heal, to get strong, to blow our nose and take a nap. And then we gather spring to spring forward in whatever it is ours to do, which might be serving for the Como County Cold Weather Shelter, or Family Promise, or hospitality, or just coming and showing your face amongst the beloved community. It's all part of the season of being as we face change. The change that's going to happen whether we acknowledge it or not. This talk came together from this passage. Now, this is the Message Bible. It was translated by Eugene Peterson, so it's written in plain common English. So it's really easy to understand. 2 Corinthians 16 through 18, chapter 3, and verse 1 and 2, chapter 4. Though they turned to face God as Moses did, God removes the veil, and there they are, face to face. Then suddenly realize that God is a living, personal presence, not a piece of chiseled stone. And when God is personally present, a living spirit, that old constricting legislation is obsolete. We're free of it. All of us. Nothing between us and God. Our faces shining with the brightness of His face. And so we are transfigured much like the Messiah. Our lives gradually become brighter, more beautiful, as God enters our lives and we become like Him. Since God is so generous to let us in on what He's doing, we're not about to throw up our hands and walk off the job just when we run into occasional hard times. We refuse to wear masks and play games. We don't maneuver and manipulate behind the scenes. And we don't twist God's word to suit ourselves. Rather, we keep everything we do and say out in the open. The whole truth on display, so that those who want can see and judge for themselves in the presence of God. Very wise words. So let's take this time to come into meditation. So become comfortable. And if it's comfortable for you to close the outer eyes, breathe easy as David will guide us there in music.
Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Prachodma Amritam Gamaya Oh Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Prachodma Amritam Gamaya Lead me from the unreal to the real, to immortality.
So we say yes. We open our heart. We set down everything before this moment and what is to come after this moment. To be here now. Relax the center of our body with easy breaths and open our heart. Opening the heart space opens the door to the soul. In truth, now we begin. Each moment is a new beginning. And as we open our heart, we open ourselves to divine guidance. And if we want clarity, ask for clear guidance. If you want peace, ask for calm serenity. If you want direction, ask for clear direction. And so as we settle in and relax into this moment, bring the question on your heart and then listen as we now enter this time in the silence. In oneness, we bless the powerful, peaceful presence of God, knowing that we can stop and come to our center and begin again. God is ever present, and I am. Let's bring with us whatever we've received in this time of prayer and meditation. And now as we come back into awareness of this room, we might wiggle our fingers or wiggle our toes or roll our neck or shoulder. And when we open our eyes, let's say this affirmation together. I keep my mind, heart, and life open to change, no matter what.
Step out on the water, release your faith. Every step is stronger. Step out on the water.